Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in part 1 of the series I'm going to show you how to make a garden with your seed that you can plant only if you claim the garden, and you can't claim anybody else's garden. You can plant the seed, wait for it to grow, and it will tell you how many seeds you have after planting them. Once you planted all your seeds, it will go away, and whenever it is done growing, you are able to collect it and it will show up in your inventory, all with different weights on them. Let's get started. So we're going to be using our properties and our explorer panel for a lot of the video. So you're just going to want to go ahead and go over here and open up explorer and properties in the view tab up here. Now the first thing I would do is start making the soil, or actually just our whole garden. And so just start building the soil. I'm going to make this brown, add a little bit of a ground texture to it. That looks pretty legit. And then we're gonna want to make our garden claimable so that it will be only our garden and nobody else can plant their plants on ours. So for that we could just make a sign. And just give me a little bit here. I don't know if I want to go too complex with the sign. I might just do this, or I guess I could have a little stick. There we go. And this sign is going to have a surface GUI on it. And in the surface GUI we can insert a text label. And if your text label doesn't appear on the front like that and it instead appears like on the side, it's no problem. You could just go into the surface GUI over here, and on the face property you can click on the arrow, and over here you can see that the text is now on the bottom, or if we want to change it to the top, we can go to the top and it's there. But I just so happen to have it on the front. And so if we want to fill this up the entire sign, then we just go to the text label, and over to where it says size, we could just change this to 1, 0, 1, 0, and now fill in the entire sign. And now we can customize this however we want. If we want, I'm going to change the background transparency to 1, just so that it's invisible. And then whenever I come down here, I might want to change the font to permanent marker, just so that it seems a little more authentic and fits the style of the game. You know, text scale, just so that it fills up the entire sign. I might want to have the color to be white, and then our text can just be click to claim. I always capitalize my L's. There we go. Well, it's all going to be capitalized anyways, huh? And so what I can do is that I could just group this and scale it, or not scale it, rotate it, and then just name the model sign. And then another important thing, make sure you name your soil, or the part for your dirt. I'm gonna name it soil, but make sure it is named. That is important, and you'll see why later. And then we could just go ahead and group all of this together, and now this is our little garden area. Of course, you can customize the dirt however you want, but just for the simplicity of the video, this will just be our little base. And so I'm gonna name this model garden, just so it's not model. And then in the sign over here, in the same part where we added the surface GUI and the text, I'm going to insert a click detector. And you can do that by clicking on the little plus next to your object. And in the click detector, we're going to add a script. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type everything in, but what the script is going to do is that we are able to click the sign, and it will make this garden our garden, and nobody else can come plant stuff in it, or we can't go claim another garden. And so I'm going to type everything out real quick, and then I'll explain it in just a bit. Okay, so this is our code. It's very short and simple. Basically, whenever the click detector has been clicked, or whenever our little sign here has been clicked, then it's going to search the workspace if there is already a garden that has our name. And so it's going to say if within the workspace we find a model or anything that says our player's name and then the garden after that, then it's going to print out that we already have a garden. Or else, if there is no model in our workspace that doesn't have our name, then we are just going to make this garden our own by saying script.parent.parent.parent.parent, which is click detector part sign and then garden. We're just going to rename that to our player's name and then .garden. And then we're going to change the text over here in the Surface GUI to say our player's garden. And then we're going to change the activation distance on the click detector to 0. So if we go ahead and test this out, we can actually duplicate this garden and, test it out, make sure that we can't claim this one after claiming that one, or vice versa. Uh-oh, I forgot to anchor my signs. Let me just do that real quick. Play. So if we come over here and we click this, as you can see, it will change the sign to our name, and it will say this is our garden. But if we come over here and we try to claim this, it will print out over here that we already have a garden, and we can't claim this one, but this one, because this one is already ours. So that is a success. Now, I think actually, I'm going to keep that other model just for a reference later. I think we should model our plant first. And in Grow Garden, I know that there's multiple plants where if you plant it, you could just repick the same fruit from over and over again. Or you have plants that are like the carrot where you just plant it once and then you collect it and it's gone. So I think for now, I'm just going to model the carrot. But if you guys want me to make the other plants, I could do that. So for my carrot, I'm not going to go too crazy for it. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just going to model something real quick. There we go. Nothing too crazy. I know it's not the best looking carrot, but it'll work for now. Whenever you've modeled your plant, what I like to do is I like to select everything here, and if you go over to the model tab and you click on union, it'll actually just change all these parts into one, and you can scale this however you like. So I'm gonna go ahead and rename this to carrot for simplicity. And within the carrot, I'm going to add some number values, and these number values will be like how fast it'll take to grow and exactly how much this carrot will weigh, because in Grow Garden, depending on how much money you get is from how much your plant weighs. So I'm going to insert a number value, and then we could just say that this number value is going to be the grow speed, and then I'm going to insert another number value in our carrot, and then this one can just be the weight value, right? And whenever our carrot is fully grown after planting it, we're gonna need to collect it somehow. And so by doing that, I'm going to insert a proximity prompt, so that whenever our carrot is done growing, we can just press E or tap on the screen over our carrot and then collect it. So I'm going to make the proximity prompt equal to the max activation distance to 0, just so that nobody can collect it until it is fully grown. And then we're going to insert a script, but I'm not going to do anything with the script just yet. I can name this script to carrot script, just so that it's simpler to read whenever it is up here in the tab. But yeah. Also, whenever you're done modeling your carrot, you're going to want to make this as small as possible, because whenever you plant the carrot, it will start growing anyways. So just make it small. We'll work on this carrot later. I think now what we should do is that we should make the seed to plant the carrot. So I'm just going to do something really simple. I don't think a seed has a lot of texture to it, so we just do something as small as this, maybe even a little smaller, but doesn't matter. I'll change it to that. We can make the material like smooth plastic. There we go. This is our little carrot seed right here. And the seed is actually going to be a tool. And so to make a tool, we need to name the part that we're holding actually to handle. And then in workspace, I'm going to insert a tool. And this tool can be named carrot seed or whatever the name of your plant is, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to move the handle into, not into the spawn location, but into the carrot seed. And so whenever we put this carrot seed into our starter pack, a little bit of brain fart there. Whenever we put it into starter pack and we equip the seed, as you can see, we are holding it. So what we want to do with this seed is that whenever we are holding it, we want to be able to plant it in the soil of our garden. And so we're going to add a couple things to this carrot seed. First thing we're going to add is a remote event. And then we're going to add a local script. And then we are going to add a script. So in the local script, I'm going to type everything out, and then I will explain everything in just a bit. Alright, so again, the script is very simple. All we're doing is that we're making variables first to get the player, and then we are going to make a variable to get the player's mouse so we can track it wherever the player clicks. And so whenever our tool has been activated, so whenever the player has equipped the tool and clicked somewhere, then we are going to make variables for what that target is, like what exactly the player clicked and where the player clicked, which is the mouse position. And so what we're going to do is that we're going to make a conditional statement and say if the target's name is equal to soil, which is what we named our little dirt patch here, if the target's name is equal to soil and the target.parent's name is equal to the player's name.garden, which is what we established over here in our scripts. Also, the soil, the target.parent.name should be the soil and then the parent, and then this name should be our name garden. If it matches those two conditions, then we are going to fire the remote event into here. And basically the whole point of having a remote event and firing it from a local script is so that we can go from what our player sees to what the entire server sees, because a local script only affects the individual player while a server script affects everybody else in the game. Before we move on to the script, I do want to say there is one small thing that we should add. Okay, this is important. It's not that important, you don't have to have it, but to keep track of all the seeds that we have, we are going to insert a number value into our carrot seed. And then this value is going to be named, let's just say amount, right? And so the amounts here we have is 0, but I'm going to change that to 7. Let's just say, just so that we start off with 7 carrot seeds. Now, in the local script over here, we need to tell the player somehow that we have 7 carrot seeds. So, in the bottom over here, I'm just going to make a while loop. I'm going to say while wait do. And then within this loop, I do not need all of that. That is false. I'm just going to say script.parent, which is the tooltip, which if we go over here, we can see that the tooltip, we could just add anything, any text here, and the tool will say like some sort of text. You'll see in a bit. We could just say script.parent.tooltip is going to be equal to, and then we could say how many seeds that we have. So you have, and then script.parent.amount.value x seeds. So if we go ahead and play this and we check this out, we look Uh-oh. I made a mistake. Ah, yes. Whenever I was scripting, I accidentally put a period instead of a colon. Oh, and also to get this output, you could just go to view, and then over here there is a little button that says output, and you just click it and you can see all the mistakes that you've made within your script. So if we try this again, we open up carrot seed. As you can see, it says here that we have 7 seeds. Now let's work on the server script that is within our carrot seed. Okay, so again, script is very short and simple. First thing we're going to do is that whenever the remote event has been fired, we are going to make a variable cloning the carrot that we made in our workspace, and we are just going to we're going to make the parents of that carrot clone as our workspace, and then we're going to name our carrots player name carrot, just so that we know that this is our carrot that we planted. And then we are going to plant the carrot where our mouse clicked. We are going to plant our carrot clone where we clicked our mouse, and then we're going to subtract 1 from the amount value here, just so that we are down 1 seed because we just planted it. And so we're going to check if the seed amount is 0, and if the seed amount is 0, then we should not have any more seeds, right? So if we go ahead and test this and we play, we can see we have our carrot seed. We try to plant it on the soil, it won't let us, but if we click and claim our garden, we should be able to plant a seed right there. And if we plant 7 of them, as you can see, our seed is gone. And the carrots are laying flat, just they will do that if you don't anchor your thing. So make sure you anchor your carrot just so that they stay planted in the ground, right? So now we have our seed bill and our garden bill, and I think the next thing to do is to make the carrot actually grow. And so over here within our carrot, we have our carrot script that I said we were going to work on later. So make sure you open up that script, remove the text, and then I will type everything in and then explain it later. So I made the first segment of code here. This is the growing code. So whenever the carrot has been cloned and the name has changed, so it's no longer carrot, we're gonna check if the name is no longer carrot. So if the script.parent.name is no longer carrot, then we are going to change wait to grow false, because we made 2 variables up here, wait to grow equals true, just so that this while loop can continue until wait to grow is equal to false. And then we have another variable over here that says that the grow speed is we just made a grow speed variable to match the value over here. So we're going to loop until wait to grow is false, and so if the carrot name is no longer carrot, then we are going to change wait to grow to false, just so that this wouldn't loop anymore. But now we have a for loop over here, and this for loop is just going to let a loop 10 times, and in those 10 times it is going to change the size of the carrot very slightly by these numbers over here. Oh, I forgot to add a point. But after it's done looping, then the proximity prompt, the max activation distance, because remember we set that to 0, but whenever it's done growing, then we're going to set it to 10 so that the player could actually collect it. So if we go ahead and play and we test this out, I'm going to claim the garden, I'm going to plant my carrot seed. As you can see, it grew pretty quick. And the proximity prompt is glitching here a little bit, and so to fix that, we can just go to the proximity prompt and then scroll down to where it says requires line of sight, I think. If we just turn that off, we don't need to or not that we don't need to do anything, it should not glitch like that again. So if we let it grow, as you can see, we can interact with it, and this is where we'll be able to collect our carrot. As you can see, the carrot grew really fast, but if we go over here and change our growth speed to something like 1, right? And we go ahead and plant our carrot, it's going to be very slow. Oh wait, I didn't claim the garden. As you can see, it's gonna be very slowly. It's gonna take like 10 seconds for it to grow. And if we wait and we wait and we wait, we should be able to collect it from there. So now that that works, we can go ahead and move on to the second segment of code, and I will type it out and explain it in just a bit. Okay, so in this part of the codes, in our second segment, we are going to check if the proximity prompt has been triggered. So if the player name .carrot is equal to script.parent's name, which it should be, then we are going to make some variables here. And so what we're going to do is that we're actually going to take the carrot that just grown and we are going to turn it into a tool like the seed we did over here. And so we are going to make a variable that says tool, local tool, and then we're going to instant is going to be equal to instant.newTool. We're just going to make a new tool, and then we're going to say that our handle, local handle, is just script.parent, because this is the thing that we will be holding. And then our weight, we're going to make a variable for how much our carrot will weigh. So if we go ahead and test this out and we play it, so we claim this, we can't really claim that. We plant some seeds. I planted 4, so it should say 3 seeds. And we're just gonna wait slowly for these to grow. I might as well plant some other seeds here while we wait. Alright, as you can see, we can go ahead and press E and we can collect it. But for some reason, it's giving me an error, and we gotta see that. Oh, I think the problem here was that I forgot to say value. And so if we go ahead and test this out again, we plant a carrot seed. Oh, I have to claim the garden first. And we wait and we wait and we wait. Very, very slowly but surely. I should have just changed this. See, there we go. If we press E to interact, we will now have our carrot that we just planted. And we can collect them all. And they all have their different weights. And we can say that this is a success. So, I think that covers part 1 of the tutorial. In the next part, I will show you how to sell those carrots for money, and in that video we will make a leaderboard, just so that we can see how many coins that we have to start with, and then how much we can get from selling them. And then the video after that, I'm thinking about making the shop. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, just so you know that, just so that I know that you guys want a second part to this. And of course, if you have any feedback to the video, or if you have any questions, I will always be happy to help. So that concludes the video, and I will see you in the next one.